So, young Jeezy has filed for divorce from Jeannie Mai after about 2 years of marriage. I think they were a pandemic couple. I think according to her and him, I think they met during the pandemic. And I remember this relationship made news when Jeannie Mai on The Real, the panel show that she hosts with all of the womanists and all that good stuff. She said, "I, Jeannie Mai, will submit to my husband," and everyone was shocked. Like,
here, that I, Jeannie Mai, going into my marriage, I want to submit to my man.
Oh my God, what are we doing? She's supposed to stick with the sisterhood, Uber Alice. Well, now, just a little over 2 years later, Jeezy has filed for divorce, which is actually kind of odd because men almost never file for divorce. I mean, men almost never in relationships. You ask the average woman, how many times have you been dumped? She can probably count it on, she can probably count the number of times she's been dumped on one hand. So men don't end relationships. Women do. And so for a man, a high profile, high value, guy to file for divorce, on his wife, that's raising a lot of questions. Although when women file for divorce, nobody questions her motives. It's always irreconcilable differences, or people assume, well, he probably cheated. That's probably why she divorced him. But now there are reports coming out that are giving us reasons as to why this marriage didn't work out. The first of which is Jeannie Mai admitting to her anger issues. And the interesting thing is we've seen women or heard of women with anger issues, and the way they operate in relationships is a little confusing, because if you have anger issues as a woman, then how does the relationship go? I can guarantee you that Jeannie Mai has had every relationship that Jeannie's been in, she's had these anger issues, but no one ever checked her. No one ever checked her until she met Jeezy.
For example, I have a really hot temper. Not a lot of people know this, but it's just something in my family. I've seen it in my grandmother. Saw it in my grandfather, to my grandmother, to my mom, to my aunts, to me, right? But I didn't notice it in myself until I was with Jeezy.
Jeezy had to check Jeannie Mai. That never happened before. Not only that, Jeannie Mai admitted that she just didn't have respect for her first husband. She didn't respect him at all. She said she didn't want to have a child with him. She just didn't want to, she didn't respect him at all. And it's interesting. Rollo Tomassi says that abortion is the purest form of hypergamy. And I agree with that to some degree, but I also believe that birth control is also the purest form of hypergamy. Jeannie Mai must have been on birth control the entire time she was with her first husband. She didn't want to have a kid. That's hypergamy. She didn't respect him. Women are not going to have the offspring of men they do not respect. Another reason for this divorce is the feminist culture, man. Jeannie Mai was a boss babe. She had all of this, the status, the celebrity, the clout, et cetera, et cetera. And when it really comes down to it, she didn't submit. She told the world that she was going to submit to her husband and she was going to be the doting, dutiful wife, and it never happened. It never happened. And here's the thing, gentlemen. Anyone can pretend. Any woman can pretend to be a quote-unquote traditional woman, right? They can pretend for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Some women can even pretend for up to a year. But at some point, if you don't vet her properly, if you're not setting your boundaries and expectations properly, if you're not enforcing boundaries, at some point, she's going to get out of pocket. She's either going to get out of pocket, or a guy like Jeezy's like, you know what? It's been 2 years. These anger issues aren't going away. You told everyone you were going to submit. You clearly didn't. Yeah, I put a baby in you, but you still haven't changed. That's it. I'm out. And the reason why Jeezy could file for divorce is because he has options. And this is why we tell men all the time, when you are dating a woman, you always have to have an abundance mindset. Always have an abundance mindset. It's very easy for a man to have an abundance mindset when he's smashing a bunch of broads. But it's not so easy to operate with that same abundance when you are in a relationship with someone you deeply care about. I mean, who knows? Maybe Jeezy had a couple of side chicks. Maybe he didn't. But the fact that he was ready, willing, and able to walk away from this very public marriage shows that, hey, you know what? I'm Jeezy. I got options. I don't have to deal with this boss babe. I don't have to deal with this angry woman. I've got options. I can walk away. In terms of pretending, this is why I recommend my ebook, How to Train Your Woman, guys. This is why I recommend these books. This is why I do what I do. Guys, it is impossible for a woman to keep up the charade for that long. And when I said 1 year, guys, that's the far end. Most women can't pretend for more than a couple of months because at some point, the veil is going to come off. As far as Jeezy's concerned, I'm sure he probably looked at her past. But Jeezy, he had the frame, and, he probably felt like he could not necessarily control her, but get her to submit. And it looked that way, at least in the short term. I mean, we've seen all their pictures. They're a good-looking couple. Jeezy's a good-looking guy. Jeannie Mai is a good-looking woman. But this is why I tell guys, when you're dating a woman, look at her past. Look at her past. Check her Instagram. Check her Facebook. Observe. Listen. Pay attention. Don't ask her, hey, what happened in your last relationship? No, don't do that. If you ask a woman what happened in her past relationship, she's not going to tell you the entire truth. At least I'll tell you this, she's at least going to leave out the part where she was accountable. The reason why Jeannie Mai decided to marry Jeezy is because she shit tested him, and Jeezy passed. This is why she married him and had his child. Jeezy was the first man in Jeannie Mai's life to actually say, no, it ain't going down like that. It is not going down like that. He checked her. Whoa. You're out of pocket. What's very interesting is that after her first marriage, she jumped to Jeezy after just a few months. She jumped to him quickly, as if to indicate that, hey, you know what? Hey, my marriage was over, but I'm not the problem. I'm gonna upgrade. I'm gonna get a higher value guy, and the world is going to see that I'm not the problem. Well, now the world knows that she is the problem, and now she is a single mother in damn near her mid-40s. Guys, she has now messed up relationships between an alpha and a beta. Think about it. You have two men on opposite sides of the spectrum. One guy was a white guy who let her walk all over him. One dude was a black dude who wasn't having it. And both relationships, both marriages have now ended in divorce. And like I said, when a man files for divorce, it raises questions, not with women. Here's another thing, and this is something that I probably thought about for a little while. Jeannie Mai's mother was clearly an influence. Her and her mother are very, very close. And her mother probably influenced her to some degree, at least more than he would. We see this with black mothers all the time. We see with black mothers, whether they're sons or daughters are in marriages or relationships, mothers always interfere in their children's relationships. Black mothers specifically, from the male side or the female side. Her mother was probably in her ear about things that were going on, etc., etc., and Jeannie Mai probably allowed herself to be influenced more by her mother than by her man. And that's not necessarily her fault, but if your girl isn't listening to you, she's listening to the world. Listen, women are going to follow someone. Women are not leaders. They're followers. They're going to follow someone. If your woman is not following you, she's following the world, or she's following her mother, or God forbid another man in the relationship. But at the end of the day, Jeannie Mai was a chameleon. She is a chameleon. She said one thing and she did another. She was submissive long enough to the point to where Jeezy was like, you know what? Hey, she's been submissive. It's the pandemic. Let's get married. But Jeezy probably should have taken her red flags into consideration. Let's take a look at her red flags. Number one, she had a failed first marriage. She admits, I did not have respect for my husband. Did Jeezy think that she was going to have respect for him, even when she purported to do this? She got on, she told the world, I'm going to be submissive, this and that and a third. She ended up not being that way. She had a failed first marriage. Number two, tattoos. Guys, any woman with tattoos, that's a red flag. You guys can see that in my free ebook, 16 Ways to Immediately Disqualify Her for a Long-Term Relationship. Just go to tsracademy.com, plug in your very best email, and you can have that book for free along with two others that are life-changing. Another red flag is that Jeannie Mai has status and money. You combine her status and money with the culture that pushes this whole boss babe narrative, combined with her mother being in her ear and her temper problem, you got a recipe for disaster. And men with options ain't sticking around for that. Jeannie Mai is very, very attractive. There is no doubt about it, even after she had the kid, but No matter how attractive you are, when you're dealing with a man with options, when you're dealing with a man who could do without you, you got to keep your shit together. Jeannie Mai, unfortunately, did not keep her shit together, and now she is a twice divorced woman in her mid-40s who is now a single mother. Jeezy was her last opportunity to live to have a long, fruitful relationship. And unfortunately for her, Jeannie Mai is just another victim of feminism. And it's sad because she really had a chance to be in a good relationship with a high status man who took a chance on her. She's an older woman. She's in her, what was she, 40 or 42 when he married her? Jeezy could have had 100 other younger women. He chose her. She should have said, okay, all right. Okay, I look good, but I'm not going to look this way forever. I'm a little older than, I'm much older than most of the women that Jeezy could have. Let me get my shit together. Let me get into counseling. Let me get on medication, something to quell this temper so that I don't fuck up my now second marriage. She didn't do it. She didn't do it. So now she is a single mother at 44 who is twice divorced. And Jeezy is going to be like Tom Brady. Tom Brady's out here dating models and IG models and all this other kind of stuff. Jeezy is going to be doing the same thing. And he is, and I mean, unfortunately, I mean, and it really sucks that this marriage ended. But this just goes to show, gentlemen, that no matter what, even if you love a woman, even if you have a child with her, if she's not acting right, you got to get up out of there. So kudos to Jeezy for eliminating himself from this bad and toxic situation. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next video.